I know you were among the committee chairs who actually met with President Biden at the White House earlier today on this COVID relief plan. What sort of progress did you make in that meeting? Where does it stand right now?
Well, I think it stands in a very good place. The point that the president made that has to be made over and over again is that we are living in a moment where tens and tens of millions of working class and middle class people are hurting. These are people who are worried about being evicted from their homes. They're worried about feeding their kids. They're worried about being able to afford to go to the doctor. They're worried about seeing their kids get a decent education. They're worried about the need for vaccinations to be distributed faster than they are right now. So we face a terrible, terrible moment in American history, probably worse than any time since the Great Depression. And what President Biden was clear about is that now is the time to keep faith with the American people. The people are hurting. We're not going to turn our backs on them. We're going to go forward, and we're going to start dealing with some of these major crises in an effective way.
As you know, Senator, the president has said he's open to making some stimulus checks more narrowly targeted. Right now, they start phasing out for people earning $75,000, couples earning $150,000. Are you willing, you personally, Senator, to lower the eligibility for these checks? These are people, some of whom have lost their jobs, but many of them are still working.
No. The issue is not, I think, going below $75,000 for an individual or $150,000 for a couple. The issue is that there is some spillover if you have kids, that families making $250,000 or $300,000 may end up getting some assistance. And I think we can eliminate that. But the truth of the matter is these income levels are based on people's income of a year ago or even 2 years ago. Many of those people are hurting today. And the truth is, you could be making a family making $125,000 with a bunch of kids. You are struggling today. So what we have got to do is understand this crisis impacts the middle class, it impacts the working class, it impacts lower income people. We are in this together. Meanwhile, the very, very rich are becoming phenomenally richer. So we need policies now where the government stands up for working families and the middle class and tells, by the way, the wealthiest people in this country, you know what? You're going to start paying your fair share of taxes.
It sounds like you and President Biden are on the same page on this issue. Senator Mitt Romney, as you well know, he says not a single Republican will vote for the current Biden relief bill, the bill that as it currently stands. We know President Biden would like to see some bipartisan support. Do you see that as a priority to make some changes, to try to win over at least a few Republican votes?
No. The priority that I see is addressing the crises facing working families. When you got millions of people out there worried about how they're going to feed their kids or how they're going to get enough income to pay the rent, that is the priority that we have to address. And I think as we move down the road, you're going to see people like Romney and other moderate-type Republicans coming on board as we deal with infrastructure, as we deal maybe with the outrageously high cost of prescription drugs in this country. We look forward to that bipartisanship. But right now, tens of millions of working families, middle-class people, low-income people are in crisis. They need help. They need help now. That is the major priority that we have to address.
Are you worried, though, that you're going to need, if no Republicans are going to support this legislation, you're going to need all 50 Democrats? Are you worried about some Democrats, like Senator Manchin of West Virginia, Senator Sinema of Arizona, for example, who has expressed some concern about some elements of the $1.9 trillion package?
Well, you know, I can't speak for any other senator, but I think at the end of the day, every Democrat in the U.S. Senate understands that people in his or her state are hurting. I got to tell you that emotionally, in my own city of Burlington, Vermont, we're doing better than many other states. Hundreds of people lined up in their cars for emergency food in order to feed their families, majority of whom have never received public assistance before. That's going on all over the country. Every Democratic senator understands that. So I believe that at the end of the day, people are going to stand with the President of the United States and do the right thing for the American people. And second of all, we are in the majority today because we won 2 seats with great candidates in Georgia. And that election in Georgia became a national election. President Biden was involved, Chuck Schumer was involved, I was involved, others were involved. We made promises to the American people. And we said that every working class, middle class person in this country is going to get $1,400 on top of the $600. We are going to extend unemployment benefits. We're going to protect people from being evicted. We're going to expand health care. We are going to make sure that vaccines are distributed a lot faster than they previously had been. Those were promises made, and those are promises that have got to be kept. And I will do my best to make sure that happens.
It is always so heartbreaking when we see those people lining up in long lines simply to get some food to feed their kids. I often say it's so hard to believe, and I'm sure you agree with me, Senator, it's hard to believe we see these things here in the United States of America. So that's one of the key issues facing the country right now. Senator Sanders, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Will.